Origins of Medusa. Medusa is the queen of the Inhumans and the primary interpreter for her husband Black Bolt, the king of the Inhumans. Medusa is best known for her long, thick head of red hair, which she can psychokinetically wield like countless extra appendages. Medusalith Amaquelon was born to Clyn and Amba, who were both members of the Inhumans. Clyn was the brother of Rinda, the wife of King Agon. Because of that family connection, Medusalith was considered a member of Adelan's royal family. Her parents had elected to expose her to the Turigen mists when she was young, which gave her a long, thick head of red hair which she could use like an appurtenance. She became widely known by her shortened name Medusa, after the woman in Greek mythology who had actual snakes for hair. A romance. During her adolescent years, Medusa began to visit her cousin Black Bolt, who at a young age was quarantined by necessity since the power of his voice could cause catastrophic damage. Because of this, Black Bolt could never vocalize his thoughts. Medusa learned to communicate with him in a special sign language, and due to these regular visits, the two had fallen in love by the time Black Bolt had been released from his cell at the age of 18. Over the years, the two remained romantically involved and even wedded. It was during this time that Medusa knew she was marrying into the royal family, which would be a large role to fulfill for her as the future queen of the Inhumans. The Kree attack Adelan. When Kree refugees came to Adelan for refuge, their true purpose was to assassinate Medusa and the rest of the Inhuman royal family. Medusa was seen along with Gorgon, Black Bolt, Ahura, and Karnak in a garden since the Inhuman royal family renounced their claim of power. Before they could shoot, Black Bolt sensed them and sent a bolt of energy their way. Medusa used her hair to protect both Ahura and herself and tells Ahura he will not help because he will be in the line of danger. Medusa saw her husband captured and attacked the soldiers, but she was hit from behind and knocked out. Medusa was then held at knife point by a Kree soldier while he told Black Bolt to give up. She awoke and took his arm off with her hair. She then announced that she and the royal family would become the protectors of Adelan once again. She, with the rest, was teleported outside of Adelan to see the Kree tents. She asked the Kree soldier what that was, and that was when a group of Kree soldiers came. She attacked them until their boss came and told them the situation. She then went to the Genetics Council to hear the decision. Medusa was then teleported to the mists to attack the Kree. She was told by Karnak about which spots to hit on an energy-based creature, but she and Karnak were easily knocked out. The Frightful Four. When mutiny spread across the Alpha Primitive Workers, Medusa battled their leaders, the Tricon. During the battle, Medusa's ship crashed to the ground and the impact caused her to lose her memory. The supervillain known as the Wizard then found her and took advantage of her amnesia. He was creating an evil version of the Fantastic Four called the Frightful Four and wanted a female on the team to counter the FF's Invisible Girl, and offered Medusa membership. She accepted, and the evil foursome was born. Medusa's team easily beat the FF in their first encounter in issue 36, minus the Torch who was away. However, Torch later saved Sue, Reed, Ben, and Alicia Masters from being smothered to death in space when he kidnapped the Wizard and forced him to fly a plane to rescue them, and this ruined the Frightful Four's chance to claim a real victory. Nevertheless, 2 issues later in FF38, the evil FF really did deliver the Fantastic Four their first defeat. Medusa brilliantly laid a trap for Susan Storm and the lovely Invisible Girl walked blindly into it. With Medusa's successful capture of the blonde girl, the Frightful Four swiftly abducted Sue to an isolated Pacific atoll. Reed, Ben, and Johnny soon followed and they found Sue, but too late to escape the Wizard's nuclear trap. A mighty explosion caused the FF to lose their powers. FF41 had the Wizard turning Ben Grimm against his friends via his ID machine. With his additional strength, Medusa's team easily defeated the FF for a second straight time. By the end of the Triple Saga in FF43, Reed managed to break Wizard's hold on Ben, and this gave the FF enough of a chance to win the day. Medusa managed to escape while her partners were being caught, and this allowed us to be introduced in the next few issues to her Inhuman family. However, before we turn to them, it must be noted that Medusa brought much to her evil team, especially a superb intellect, as demonstrated by when she had Trapster create a chemically treated giant plastic bag in FF41 to imprison the unconscious Invisible Girl. Since the plastic bag was able to stretch to any size, Sue's force field was totally ineffective against the trap, which was crafted by Medusa's genius. Some have even said that the red-haired lady showed a bit of eerie sadistic glee when she was a Frightful Four villainess. While the Frightful Four went on for decades to battle the FF, they never had as much success in future battles as what they had with Medusa in FF36, 38, and 41-43. Stan Lee might have been better off if he had kept Medusa in the Frightful Four and even made her the leader of the evil quartet. However, then we would probably never met Medusa's family, the Inhumans, so let's move on to them. Gorgon came along and tried to capture her along with the Human Torch. A fight between Medusa and the Human Torch awakened the imprisoned Dragon Man. He protected Medusa against Gorgon and the Fantastic Four, as he was confused by her and originally thought she was the Invisible Girl until the actual Invisible Girl came along to help stop Dragon Man and Gorgon. The four were distracted and Gorgon had enough time to capture Medusa and bring her back to Atlian. Return to the Inhumans. With her memory finally jogged, Medusa stopped fighting against the Inhumans and joined them in a fight against the Fantastic Four, who came to save the Human Torch. The Human Torch had fallen in love with Medusa's sister, Crystal. But when Crystal announced that Triton had been captured by the Seeker, Medusa teleported her family to Atlian. They arrived, as Maximus and Medusa both knew Black Bolt could not use his voice. Maximus then tried to claim Medusa as his bride, but Black Bolt ran to steal back the Inhuman crown, reclaiming himself as the leader of the Inhumans, with Medusa by his side. When the Fantastic Four arrived, the Human Torch was reunited with Crystal and Maximus fired his Atmo gun. When his machine didn't work, Medusa realized that the Inhumans and humans were all the same, and it angered Maximus. He reversed his machine and it created a negative zone around Atlian that trapped them, while the Fantastic Four escaped just in time. Black Bolt realized he had no other choice but to use his voice, to destroy the negative zone around Atlian. Black Bolt had revealed his secret in the end, he could use his voice. Medusa talked to Marista about how she wished she can hear Black Bolt speak. Medusa went on to tell her how every day Black Bolt went to meditate to make sure he wouldn't say a word which would kill all of them. Marista asked if Medusa was afraid if he would lose his grip. Medusa said no, but she was afraid of how Black Bolt could so easily close everything out, including herself. The Council of Elders and Black Bolt later sent Medusa and the royal family to study human society, where Medusa was led into conflict with Spider-Man. Medusa was then captured by Maximus, who stole the Inhuman crown once again and imprisoned Black Bolt. Black Bolt used his powerful voice once again and freed the people of Atlian. She then tried to restore Black Bolt's voice under the Enchantress influence to join the Lady Liberators. When Susan Richards left the Fantastic Four, Medusa took her place. After several months of service, Medusa convinced Sue to join the Fantastic Four once again, allowing Medusa to return to Atlian. Powers and abilities. Medusa's most notable feature is her unusually long and luxurious red hair, 6 feet in length when fully relaxed, the strands of which are no thicker than the average strand of human hair and just as soft when she wills it to be. However, each strand possesses greater tensile strength and durability than steel wire of the same thickness, and Medusa has the psychokinetic ability to wield all of them like countless extra appendages. With concentration, she can move her hair in almost any manner imaginable. When sufficiently anchored, Medusa's hair is strong enough to lift and hurl heavy objects up to 1.6 tons in weight, and each individual strand on its own can support approximately 6.4 pounds. For greater reach, Medusa can stretch the strands up to double their original length with minimal loss of tensile strength. She can snap her hair as if it were a whip, the tips of which move faster than the speed of sound or rotated at extremely high velocities like a powerful fan. She can also use it to form sharp spear-like points for puncturing and stabbing purposes. Her control over her hair is precise enough that she can easily perform actions that require great dexterity and complex coordination, such as typing on a keyboard, shuffling and dealing a deck of cards, or picking a lock. Her hair is a devastating weapon in close combat since most opponents find it impossible to block or evade all of her attacks at once and quickly find themselves overwhelmed by the countless strands. Even while she attacks with her hair from many directions, she can simultaneously use it to shield herself from attack, since it is extremely durable and difficult to damage. Though her hair has no nerves, she can feel sensations through it with her sonic field. Because she is an inhuman, Medusa also possesses greater strength, speed, agility, reflexes, and endurance than humans. Even without using her hair, she is strong enough to lift approximately 1 ton under normal conditions. She has also had extensive training in unarmed combat. Though most inhumans have very weak immune systems compared to humans, Medusa has spent enough time in the outside world that her immune system has toughened considerably. Unlike her fellow inhumans, she is not easily sickened by the bacteria, viruses, and pollutants of the outside world and can operate normally in it. From a young age, Medusa developed a special form of silent communication with Black Bolt, which eventually led their romance and marriage. She can instinctively read her husband's body language, mannerisms, and intentions better than anyone, and has long served as his personal interpreter and translator. As the Queen of the Inhumans, Medusa has shown exemplary leadership qualities, and it is often thought that she is the true guiding force behind her people, even more so than Black Bolt.